Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the January 16th traffic hearing. Would you all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. All right, quickly, I'd like to just do a quick roll call. Chief Callahan? Present. Frank Stringy?
Here.
Here. Nick Rystrom?
Here.
And Chief Cullen? Here. And I am here as well. So let's start this off with the first public hearings. We have 3 of them today. Amend Schedule 11 of Title 10, handicap person parking by adding 5 Florence Ave, Apartment 1. This place card for the resident is requesting for 15 Centennial Ave. Is there anyone here to speak on that? Counselor, thank you.
There we go. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know Ralph isn't here to discuss this, but he investigated it and he called me about this. And it was a choice whether we wanted to put it on Centennial or Florence. And I felt that Centennial was a little too steep at that point at the corner of Florence Ave for them to utilize that, where Florence isn't as steep. There's less of elevation there, even though they have a little more area to walk to get to where their door is. I guess they have no problem with it, so, you know, we're in favor of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. All right. Oh, there we go. Parking Director.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to be on record as a proponent for this location on Florence. I think Centennial Ave is one-sided parking, already congested. If it's the will of the commission to move this to Florence, I think that would be the best bet for everybody. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else like to speak on behalf of this? On behalf? Of this matter itself. Okay. Proponent, opponent.
Oh, thank you. On this, it says this placard is for the resident of 15th Centennial. Just wanted to make sure that there's nothing that designates it as that it's just a placard that says handicap, which sadly sometimes anybody can park there.
Sorry, so you want the handicap spot
Well,
to
I
specifically state?
No, I don't want it to state that.
Okay.
But it just says here for 15th Centennial. I know it's for them, but sometimes residents get it in their head that it's their own personal handicap.
Yeah, that's not what's gonna happen. All right, thank you. I appreciate you bringing that up, though. All right, Counsel, do we have any opinion on this matter?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve, is there a second?
Second.
All right. 5 Florence has been approved. All right, the second item is same thing, amend Schedule 11 of Title 10, handicap person parking by adding 203 Constitution Ave. I believe there's information pertaining to that as well that was handed out. Is there anyone here to speak on this? Oh, there's a packet right here. I did briefly skim through this. I believe we should at least give them the ability to move this to public hearing, so. Oh,
This is the
Jesus.
public hearing, Mr. Chairman.
My apologies.
I believe it was recommended by the Director of the Office of Disabilities, Commission of Disabilities.
All right. Is there any motion on the floor from the committee?
Motion to approve?
Motion
Second.
approved. Second. All right. Item number 2 has been approved. Item number 3 for public hearing, amend Schedule 8 of Title 10, parking restrictions generally by adding Wilson Street, no parking this side, easterly side, entire length. So this was a correction. We were trying to adjust the what was currently on the books, and I believe this is what we came up with. Counselor?
Oh, I was just, I'm in favor of this. I thought when I first put the motion in, the request, it was supposed to be permanent parking, but you guys kind of shot that down, so this is the next best thing, I think, for them, Wilson Street.
Okay. Thank you.
I think everybody agreed on this.
I do have last week's agenda, I believe, last Traffic Commission agenda. Zach, do you have an answer for us on that one?
So I can understand why this confusion, the same area of the city. The confusing one that we were talking about was Mill Street, where what was on the books, what may have not been in the books, what we were rectifying. That has been fixed. As far as last public hearing, we had that vote last meeting. But last meeting, there was a request to also adjust Wilson Street, as these 3 streets over there, you have Wilson, Eaton, and then you have Mills. Mills and Eaton already had no sided on the east side, no parking along the east side. Wilson did not. Going into the same time of Mills coming into fruition, or as a request to this commission, there was a few residents that reached out from Wilson Street that stated they've been having difficulty with trash and school bus pickup due to the double-sided parking.
Oh, that's right.
So this motion came forward just to be consistent with the regular streets, the rest of the streets in that area, make the east side and no parking on that side, to allow the street a little bit more room. And I'm sure the engineer can provide some details, because these streets are pretty narrow. They shouldn't have been parking on either side, both sides either way.
Thank you for clarifying that, Zach.
Mr. Chairman, if I might.
Yep.
What we did speak about last meeting also, if I recall, Chief Bright at the time mentioned the difficulty with apparatus being able to make that turn from Beach Street.
Yep.
The right-hand turn as you're going east on Beach. And that's why we decided on the even side. As Mr. Barbo alluded to, there is not enough roadway width for parking on both sides. And so that's, I think, a combination of those is how we got to where we are.
Awesome. Yeah, I tend to agree. It's too narrow of a road to have parking on both sides. So is there any motion from the committee?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, all those opposed? Aye. All right, passed. Approved. Okay, now, real quick, Julie DeMar from Community Development would like to bring a petition before us from the residents of Charter Street.
So, good evening, Julie DeMauro, Department of Planning and Community Development. Before I get started, I just want to clarify a change in the policy. Originally, the policy was to, the original intention of this policy was that the resident would submit a petition to their ward counselor. The ward counselor then would bring it up to the rest of the city council. However, after talking it over with the city clerk's office, she feels jurisdiction really belongs with the traffic commission. So we have updated our policy so that the petition still needs to be put through to the ward counselor or the counselor at large, and then it would be submitted to us, and I would present it to the traffic commission to let you know that this is happening. So we received our first petition, and it's for Charter Street, and they're looking. There's a lot of cut-through traffic. Seems to be an issue with speeding when they get to the end of Charter Street, exiting onto Squire Road. I know that there's been a lot of traffic counts and traffic data collection over the year for Charter Street for various different requests and projects. However, we really need to get some traffic data that is current. So what I am bringing to you tonight is just to ask for the go-ahead for us to move forward with this petition. We will conduct 1 week's worth of traffic counts, and then I will bring it back to the traffic working group. We will discuss what we found and figure out if this warrants us to move it on to our on-call, if there's things that we can do internally to fix, or if it doesn't warrant anything at all. But I have to say that because it may not. But then whatever the findings may be, the ward counselor, which would be Counselor Janino, he would get a copy of the findings as well. I would come back and present to the Traffic Commission what the proposed solution is going to be. So I'm just looking for a yes or no. Can we move forward with this?
Of course. So now this will go through our internal processes, and then it'll come back before the committee for approval.
Correct. Yep. So nothing will go down unless this commission approves it. So this commission would be this body that I'm speaking to right now. So there'd be no speed bumps going down in inappropriate places, affecting drainage or anything like that. We don't even know if a speed bump is really warranted here, but hopefully the study will kind of give us the data that we need.
Thank you very much.
Okay?
All right.
So the data will include speeds also of these vehicles, correct?
Oh, I think we have someone else from. Counselor, do you have something to add to that?
How you doing? Councilor Janino, Ward 6 Councilor here. I'm in support of you guys pushing this forward. I have speed charts and stuff from the last 2024 and 2023. Plus, the city also did an extensive study back in 2022, maybe?
2022.
2022. The problem appears to be consistent volume as opposed to speed. The majority of the cars over there are going the speed limit or under, with the exception of once they approach the light at the bottom of the hill. Coming over the hill, they're slowing down. See the light turns green, they're stepping on the gas. That's where speed's coming in on. Otherwise, we're looking at most of your cars doing 22 to 25 miles an hour over a week period in '23 and a week period back in June of '24. The volume of cars is between 1,800 and 2,000 cars a day over the course of a week, again, in '23, and then a weekend in June of '24 that I printed out. We don't have the speed, we have volume, and we're looking for whatever we can do for traffic calming measures that the community development decides is best for that neighborhood. So I'm just wishing you guys would push it forward to the community development to further do their research on it and come up with a decision for us.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Counselor. Appreciate that. All right, so that will go through our internal process, and we'll come to a conclusion there. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yep.
as long as the speed radars at the location come before the light, cars are generally speeding up. Because we know speeds on the street generally, like Chris said, is about between 20 and 25 miles per hour. And the issue is further down, closer to the light, so we need to,
So we're actually going to look at both sides of this, both ends of the street. So we're going to look at Charger Street from Malden to Rumney Road, right? Rumney Road. And then we're going to look back at Rumney Road, Charger at Rumney, down to the light. Because there is some speeding up and slowing down in the northern part of the street. And then it all depends on where the vehicle is going towards at the end of the street. So if the light is red and they're, you know what I mean, that they have to wait anyway, they tend to slow down. So we'll be looking at it, you know, from both sections of the street. We won't just be looking at it at one end. The other thing that I do want to kind of stress here is that I think we need to, you know, think about how the street is functioning now as well. I mean, because I think some of it is, a lot of it is engineering in terms of putting in sidewalks. That's something that we've talked about, like real sidewalks and narrowing the roadway, making it seem like that it's narrower so that people won't be speeding as much. But I think we'll have a better idea once we we do some targeted collection and data and figure out where people are really speeding and where they're slowing down. So that stop sign at the top of Charger Street at Charger and Rumney, it seems as though that, and I don't know this, but you probably have the data on it, Chief Callahan, is how many accidents are caused by people running that stop sign. But Rumney Road, for the most part, is a pretty slow street. All those stop signs, they calm traffic anyway, so it's, in terms of visibility and people wanting to speed up and slow down, it's kind of difficult to do on that roadway. But I think we should just take a look at both sides and see what we come back with. Any other questions?
No. Thank you very much.
Okay, then we will get this going probably within the next week or so.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you.
very much. All right. Now we can move on to our second item on the agenda, which is item number 1, amend Schedule 4 of Title 10 by installing an isolated stop sign by the following address. Location would be Mountain Ave at Adams Street, westbound and eastbound stop sign. I am actually in favor of this, since it seems to be a dangerous intersection if anybody's ever traveled down that way.
Mr. Chairman, if I could?
Yep.
This was a request that I brought before the commission. We have received, and I've seen personally, a lot of speeding on Mountain Ave. There has been some incidences at Adams with cars trying to pull out and, excessive speed coming down Mountain Ave towards Broadway. So this is sort of a twofold. It's meant to slow and calm the traffic between the new speed bump that we installed and the stop sign at Broadway. And then it's meant to also provide some safety for the movements that are happening at the intersection of Adams Street. And so for that reason, I'm very much in favor of this, moving this to a public hearing.
I would agree. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. The item is moved to a public hearing. Thank you. Okay, our next item is actually 8 separate addresses. Amend Schedule 8 of Title 10, handicap parking by removing removing 8, yep, there's 54 Carlson Ave, 201 Crescent Ave, 5 Webster Street, 255 Coolidge Street, 65 Nahant Ave, 12 Hitchborn Street, 283, 285 Endicott Ave, and 65 Nahant Ave. Oh, my apologies. Yep. Do we have any proponents or opponents who'd like to speak on behalf of this?
No, I had the 201 Crescent Ave and the 5 Webster Street are the same address. It's just, it's right across the street. There's no house on Webster Street, but there was a handicap sign there.
Okay.
It was on the side of the road, but it was across the street from 201. So that's the same address, and it was already removed. So, thank you.
Well, at least this way we can clean it up on the book so it's no longer there. All right, if there's no one from the audience who'd like to speak, is there any?
Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion to move all 7 or 6 of them to public hearing. And between now and then, just confirm that they all are, in fact, needing to be removed.
All right, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, approved. For public hearing, yep. All right, the next item we have on our agenda is requests to amend Schedule 8 of Title 10, parking restrictions generally by adding Green Street, direction northerly, 24-hour, 7-day-a-week permit parking.
Thank you,
Counselor.
Mr. Chairman. Joanne McKenna, Councilor, Ward 1 Councilor. Last in December, I think that was our last meeting, or November, this body approved to have one-sided parking on Green Street, northerly side. And we were waiting for this building across the street to be approved. It was approved by the council, so it is going up. They already started construction. So I'm asking that this body also put 24-hour, 7-day-a-week permit parking so the residents can have their space in front of their house. So when they start the work, workers aren't parking in front of their house. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I don't see much of an issue with this. I mean, that building that's going up is not allowed to have street parking as it is, so I'm not really for or against this. Do we have any, you guys have any opinion?
So the reason why I'm doing this is because it's overnight parking, and I think we discussed this already. So anybody can park in the daytime there, and even if it's one-sided parking, still people with no sticker, or they have overnight parking stickers, can park in front of someone's house. So that's why I want the 24 hours, so people with, that live there will not get that burden of having someone park in front of their residential property. So
Okay.
that's why I'm putting it in there. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Commission, is there a motion to either approve or not deny? What do you, I mean, I guess we should send this to a public hearing, I believe.
Motion to move to a public hearing?
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Move to public hearing. Next, we have amend Schedule 8 of Title 10, parking restrictions, generally requesting a 15-minute parking sign outside of the Quickie Mart establishment at 225 Broadway. Counselor?
Mr. Chairman, the owners of the Quick Mart asked if they could have a 15-minute parking sign there. Right now, there is a meter there, but they can't, people have to feed the meters. And I know there's a lot of things that are going to happen within the next couple of months, but I'm just requesting that we put a sign there, put it to public meeting, public hearing.
Okay.
All right?
Yep,
Thank
I know
you.
there's a few things in the works for this, so this could go one of a couple of ways. I mean, I think we can move it to a public hearing and let the parking department's ideas play out.
Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Yep.
So just a couple clarifications. There's 3 spaces here. So which space are we requesting the 15-minute for? There are 3 metered spaces, and as well as, I would ask this commission to table this item only because currently the parking department, in conjunction with the parking advisory committee, will be putting up a proposal to come towards you to implement some type of courtesy time for these meters for, quick in and out stopping. And if this will run in conjunction with what the council is looking to do, we might be able to find a way to compromise during that. I would just ask that there is going to be a take and a give if we start removing meters or cutting out revenue from that. There is a portion of that meter revenue that pays for most of my department, whether it's 3 employees plus the overhead that we try to keep out of the appropriated account. So I do understand the idea behind the motion, and again, we're always looking to help our e-commerce in this city, and I'm fully supportive of that. I would just ask to table this until hopefully April, when we have everything in front of you to be fully digested. Thank you.
All right. It's irrelevant. It's all right. I believe this would be a good idea to let what we have going on with the Parking Advisory Committee play out before we move forward with this.
I agree.
You agree? Thank
Well, it's
you.
up to the commission.
All right. Motion to table until,
So moved.
thank you. All right, item number 6, amend Schedule 8, Title 10, parking restrictions generally by removing Thurlow Ave, Easterly, Beach Street, from Beach Street to East Mountain Ave, no parking anytime. All right, was there any, Mr. Bavo?
Mr. Chairman, I know the request is for go to public hearing on this, and I know what Mr. Cogliandro and I have communicated. So if you look up the geography and the kind of the infrastructure of the street, going up Thurlow, starting from Beach Street, up till East Mountain Ave, up until Tree Valley, there's curbing, sidewalks on both sides. After you pass Tree Valley, there is no sidewalk. It's transitional where the pavement rolls into the street.
The other way, right? So from East Mountain to Tree Valley?
Yes,
There's
exactly.
There's no sidewalks?
Yeah, I'm looking at it coming up Beach, going up the hill to
Yeah,
Tree
yeah.
Valley, and then coming back down. Once you
Correct.
start coming back down towards East Mountain to the high school, there is no granite curbing existing there. Those residents do have the ability to try to get 2 tires out of the roadway, make it more open. So I do understand where Anthony was coming from this, because right now, from my perspective, the sign says no parking. We have been citing a vehicle that has been there. The homeowner made a good reasonale on why they thought that no parking should stop where the curb cutting ended, because the roadway opens up a little bit more once you pass Tree Valley.
Yeah.
So I understood, and I just wanted to provide some clarification for this commission tonight on the motion.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, just to add to that, on the east side of the street, from Trevally down to East Mountain, there is curb that goes about halfway down the street. However, on the opposite side of the street, there is no curb. And again, on the east side, it only goes halfway and then it stops. So
Okay.
it's even more confusing and whatnot than, there being a distinct transition on both sides from Trevally.
Okay, so on Thurlow Ave, you're driving from Tree Valley down to Beach. Is there parking on the left-hand side currently? No.
There's no curb, but there's people that are parking kind of like on the curb, like one, half of their car is like kind of where the sidewalk should be.
Okay. But we're not adding anything if there currently is no parking on that left side?
Correct.
Okay.
We're just going to allow people that are currently parking on the side from Tree Valley down to East Mountain to continue to park as they aren't disrupting the area.
Okay. Okay. All right, yeah, I'm fine with that. I was on the phone earlier with one of the residents, and they stated that there was an incident on that Beach to Tree Valley where a fire truck actually got stuck and couldn't make its way up there. So if the fire department believes there's enough clearance for them to make it down the remainder part from Tree Valley to East Mountain, I have no objection.
Yeah, we have no problem with that.
Okay. All right.
Mr. Chairman, can I just get some clarification? So there currently on the east side of the street is no parking?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And we're looking to remove that to allow parking on that side of the street?
Only for half of the roadway.
Only for the piece from Tree Valley to East Mountain.
Okay. And there is not parking allowed on the other side of the street?
So if you're going down towards the high school, there's currently parking allowed on the left side, but not the right side.
So there's
So the
a
west side you can
concern-
park, east side you cannot park.
So if you're allowing parking on the east side going down the hill, and there is somebody also parked on the opposite side of the street, it's very tight for passage, especially where the curb is. So you maybe can
I thought there was no curb.
get away with that where there's no curb. The curb only goes halfway down the street. That's the problem.
I thought it
So
stopped
are
at
you
Tree
talking
Valley.
about, Mr. Reishman, are you talking about the curbing on the east side of the roadway?
Yeah.
So that stops right where Tree Valley ends. So, for instance, Tree Valley comes across this way, Thurlow continues. The width of Tree Valley is the edge of that curb. I think it's the first house right there. It ends about just dipping into the roadway. That area we could still maintain as no parking with that curbing, as that, a vehicle would be parking within an intersection. That would be an MGL violation within itself that we don't need signage. It looks like just right after that curbing ends, we just wanted to allow, we were looking into considering maybe allowing residents to utilize that area.
What intersection? That's Beach. So the curbing on the east side goes further down Thurlow than you described. It goes all the way down to number 59, which is, it's down to the second house on the left, but it's on the other side. So it goes, it doesn't just, it's not just in the intersection, it goes further down than that. If you look even at the street view that you get, if you go onto Google, you can see there's a van that's parked on the curb, and there's cars parked on the other side that are half on the street and half on the sidewalk, and it's pretty tight.
I see exactly what you're saying. So yeah, it would be after that telephone pole, we would be asking for parking.
Okay, so it's gonna be from 59 Thurlow down to East Mountain.
Correct. That would be the amendment that should be made. I see what you're saying now. I absolutely understand.
All right, so we can amend that to the portion without curbing. Would that be okay with you guys?
And I believe this is still going to go to a public hearing,
Yeah, of
correct?
course.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, with that adjustment, I'll make a motion to send it to a public hearing.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, move to public hearing. I think you said 59, down to East Mountain. All right. Is that all? Yeah, because those 7, those are both the same thing. Were they not? Were those two separate requests?
So the first one was removing the no parking anytime for the whole length of the street. The second one was adding no parking anytime back to the first section from Beach to Tree Valley. Yeah. So that would be an amendment as well, to be no parking starting from Beach Street to 59 Thurlow would be the amendment to that request.
Okay. Okay. I said we wrap those up together and create one public hearing. All right, is that agreed? Thank you. All right, everyone, is there any other public comment? Anyone else who'd like to speak? No? All right.
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman?
Second.
Is there a second? Adjourned, thank you.